Do you understand?
Yes.
I wish I had a ham sandwich to calm my nerves.
Get a hold of yourself, Dag!
How come I suddenly know which boy bands rock out loud?
Hey, it's Brian.
And I'm Rob.
And our powers together, combined, let's start that over.
Okay.
Fuck. It's going to be one of those nights. You can leave this all in too, that's fine.
Okay.
Hey, it's Brian.
And I'm Rob.
And our powers combined, we are the Nostalgic Dads Podcast.
Yes, welcome to another episode. And today starts the bad.
Yeah, it starts horrible. Sorry for anyone that has to put up with this. And if you like this show, you need to get checked. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, this is one of those. I don't know if nothing else was on TV, then I would just find something else to do.
I would turn the TV off and go outside. I guess we should let everyone know what we're watching, and it gets even better because with our layout that we do, 3 episodes of the season, the first episode, the middle episode, and the last episode, they're nice enough to break each episode down into 2 10-minute shorts. So we're actually reviewing 6 episodes and not 3.
Yeah.
But we are discussing, for some reason, Angela Anaconda.
Yes. So March is like tomorrow,
Hell.
or by the time you're listening to this now. And yes, so we're starting the month of shows that we just did not like, we hated, or maybe just didn't pay attention to. But right now, we are starting some we hate.
Yeah, it's just so visually unappealing, and those goddamn voices.
Yeah.
It's like nails on a chalkboard.
All right. Before we start plot, let's get this out of the way. This show is so ugly.
Yeah, I don't know what the animation style they tried to do. This looks like they took clip art of real people's faces and then animated the mouths and the eyes, and yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, there's no part of this show to me that is appealing. So it looks really ugly. None of the characters are likable, and also the stories are too short to even care about. Also, like you said, voice acting is just terrible.
There's not a single voice actor in here that isn't nails on chalkboard.
Yeah, if I had to guess, it was just whoever was animating this for budgetary constraints, they just used their own voice, and then it's not even like a good attempt. It's anybody's voice making fun of another person, where you just
Yeah, that sounds about right.
yeah.
But let's let the fun begin. We're starting off with episode 1. I guess part 1 is entitled Pet Peeves. The gist of this episode is Angela wants to take the class to a monster truck rally, and Nanette, I think is her name,
Yes.
wants to go to a ballet. So it's them trying to raise money to pick which way they're going to go.
Yep, that pretty much summarizes it.
Yeah, there's nothing to these episodes at all.
Yeah,
Nothing that builds the characters, nothing.
what I noticed, every single episode follows the same structure. Angela, main character, wants to do something. Nanette wants to do something that complete opposite of what Angela wants to do. There's some sort of conflict contest between them, and then yeah, that's the whole thing. You get to see who comes out on top at the end.
Yeah, I think everyone, Nanette comes out on top, and then there's always a daydreaming sequence where Angela's trying to foil her plans. That's it.
Yeah, I think like every single episode has a dream sequence where she's like crapping all over Nanette.
Yeah. And I do want to say, like, with doing this new series for March, I do want to try and find something redeeming about at least one episode, but there's nothing at all here.
I was gonna say that's super hard.
Nothing
no,
at all.
I have one.
Okay.
Yep, it is that they're short. I know, like together they're like 2 episodes in one, which makes it sound long, but all in all they're just 10-minute segments, and in that, I consider it a mercy that it's not this long plot going on.
I guess if we're drawing for straws, then we'll use that as the redeeming factor for this show. Here's a question for you, though.
Yep.
How about that goddamn intro?
Sorry, I'm going to sigh probably a lot during this episode, but God, it's bad. It's all bad.
It's not bad. It's horrible.
Her
It-
voice.
And when she's trying to sing the intro song, it's just no. Just put me out to pasture and shoot me.
Yes,
It's that
please.
bad.
I know. If I'm totally being honest with myself, I was watching these this morning and I was taking notes, but at the same time, I was playing on my Switch because I was just like, ugh, it was that bad.
I was taking notes and cleaning.
Yeah,
I tried to take as much notes as possible to get anything out of these episodes, and it's just, oh God, what do we do?
Yeah, like I know we're supposed to like put in effort into this, and for this, I consider just watching this is the effort.
Yeah, I'd say so. I guess we should try and break down the first episode. Couple points that I got.
Okay.
So you got Angela, who's kind of the nerdy kid. You got Annette and her two friends that are the preppy kids.
The mean girls, essentially.
Yeah. And then to raise money, they started off with doing a bake sale, kind of like a lemonade stand out the side of the road. And
Yep.
for whatever reason, Nanette's doing like fancy pastries, and Angela is just selling bread.
Is that what she's doing?
Yeah, this is like a whole wheat bread. Something else that I knew what it was originally. When the dad opens the garage and there's just a puff of smoke coming out, you can tell he's like of some sort. But initially, it looks like he's hotboxing the garage.
Oh, nice.
And then from there, to raise more money, they do pet grooming and cleaning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they literally shave off all the hair of this one dog.
Yeah.
And then Nanette makes a comment that if Angela wants to win, they have to raise an additional $362 because Angela only has $11 raised so far.
Nanette is rich and quotations French, but every time she says like a French term in here, it's like used in the wrong context or it's totally the wrong word. Yeah, and then also some of the other characters in here that are in the episode, Angela's friends, who I'll list. They have like really weird names. Johnny Abadi, who's
His
distinguishing.
nice blue hair.
Yeah, he has blue hair. Nanette is into him for some reason. Why anyone is into anyone in the show is beyond me because everyone's so ugly. Angela's other best friend, Gina Lash, who is literally just the whole time a joke about fat girls, is essentially her trait.
Yeah, because the one episode touches on that even
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, it's like there are little jokes here and there, but then one episode, we will go over is just all about it. What do I have in my notes? There's not much notes for each episode since they're so short.
Mine looks like chicken scratch.
Yeah, doctor writing.
How about that dream sequence in this one, though? Because it's Angela and Nanette and all of them at the ballet thing. And at one point, she throws Nanette into the water with swans, and all the swans' faces are swapped out with like the teacher and classmate faces.
Yeah, that's very disturbing.
Yeah, that's going to haunt me tonight, and I watch scary movies every day.
Also, not only are the people very unappealing looking, the dogs in here are not cute at all. They look like little rat monsters.
Yeah, you see those two Rottweilers that look like they ran into a wall head first?
Yes, very scary.
They look like a Rottweiler mixed with a pug.
Yeah, and
Really
then
condensed.
they're all squished. The teacher in here, I don't remember her name, but the teacher is all.
Miss Brinks, I think. I
Maybe.
got that wrote down somewhere.
That sounds right. She is all about Nanette. She's not a good teacher. She's very partial towards one particular student.
Yep.
For what I have in here, as far as at the end, it's Monster Truck Rally versus Opera as far as what the annual field trip is going to be, and Nanette wins because she's rich, of course.
That might be a redeeming factor in the show because I think Annette or someone other than Angela always wins each episode.
Yeah, it's not what you expect.
Yeah, it's not the common thing.
Yeah, because usually it's just like, oh yeah, when in doubt, being good, you come out in the end, and here it's like, no. It shows you
Yeah.
this is how the world really works. If you got money, you're gonna do better.
Yep. Do you have any other pointers for the first half of episode 1?
No. It's quick, though I feel like a lot happens within just 10 minutes, which is something. But
Yeah,
that,
it jumps from spot to spot, but there's no building of anything.
no, not at all. I guess that takes us to part 2.
Yeah, entitled Rat Heroes. Oh boy. This one is Angela's dad has a space meteorite, and they're going to take a school trip to the Space Museum
Yeah.
And that's it. That's it. Sums up. I mean, we see a rat for like 10 seconds, so I don't know why it's called Rat Heroes.
I think at one point the lady leading the tour, who is a pretty blatant Asian stereotype,
Oh yeah,
is
yeah,
yeah, she talks about how back in the day they had like, or maybe currently, I don't know, they have rats for test pilots or whatever.
yeah. They sent. She says something like they sent 1,000 rats into space, and the one rat she had in her hand was the first one to go to the moon or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
In this episode, we actually get to see her Angela's brothers, who are apparently dumb, like a-holes to her.
Yeah, and they're twins too, by the looks of it.
Oh, man, I couldn't tell, probably because I just don't want to look at anyone.
No, they're only in the scene for like maybe 10 seconds, so but there's not much character change in this show, I find.
No. What do you got for notes?
I wrote down "shoot me," and that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad on episode 1, part 2.
Yeah.
The fact that Angela's dad has a random meteorite that was in his shirt, just randomly out of the blue.
Yeah, he just like had it like right there. It's pretty weird.
There was one funny line. I think it was Johnny Buddy or whatever. When they're at the museum, this is why I wrote the "shoot me" line. He asks the Asian lady, "Can we see the rings around your anus?"
I have that written down. It says Uranus joke.
Yeah, and then Angela takes her rock up to what she thinks is an astronaut to see if it's a real meteorite. Then Net points out that the guy that she was just talking to is just a janitor in an astronaut suit.
Yeah.
And then go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for some reason, the astronaut suit in here looks like a prison convict suit.
Oh yeah, it's that nice bright orange. It's just like a jumpsuit. I don't know why. I guess nothing super detailed, so maybe it was too much issue on the animation side. Even though the animation in this is probably the worst I've ever seen, because it's up there with South Park season 1, which South Park gets away with it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And season 1 of South Park was all, I think, cardboard cutouts. Motion. This I don't think was stop motion by any means.
The show makes me think of like ugly paper mache.
This show, the way they animate it, makes me think of in school when you make the crafts and then you take the little fasteners to move the arms and the legs. The paper.
Yes.
That's what the animation style reminds me of.
Just like awkward body movements and everything.
And then in this episode, the main astronaut who has his own cereal brand is named Bob. At least that's what I think his name is.
We call him like Astronaut Bob, or
yeah, I think so. And then Angela has her dream sequence where I was cleaning, so I wasn't really paying attention. But I think at the end she was riding that meteorite. But then when she comes out of the dream sequence, she's on Miss Brink's lower back butt area.
Oh yeah.
Like riding her like a bull.
Yeah.
And then Bob smells the meteorite and knows exactly where it's from. I don't know how, but he pinpoints right where it was found.
Yeah.
That's it. I got nothing else.
Yeah. So Angela's thing is, she's bringing her rock because I guess she wants to like find someone there to prove that like this is a space rock.
Yeah.
And then at some point she sneaks away and goes into an anti-gravity chamber. And I think that's where she like entered. I got a little confused where she entered the dream sequence, and then when she gets out of the dream sequence, she's like on top of the teacher. So maybe they turned it off and she fell. At this point, like you, I was kind of mentally checking out as well. At some point, Nanette, I don't know, through her horribleness, makes Angela lose her rock, and then at the end, happy ending, Spaceman Bob proves it's a real rock, and then he actually shows up, or he undresses, and it shows that he is actually wearing the same spacesuit that Angela is wearing. So in the end, she is like validated and all that stuff, but also who cares?
Also, when he takes off his overalls to do a spacesuit, did you notice Miss Brink's hair jumps off her head?
Oh yeah. So she's wearing a terrible wig, and that's episode 1.
Yep. We're not almost there, but we're getting there. So the next episode is episode 13, and the first half is called Mapperson's Daughter. A little rundown on this one is I just wrote her name down, sidekick. I don't know her name.
Gina?
The fat chick. Gina. So this episode is based around Gina. She's depressed because she thinks her favorite bakery is closing down. Comes to find out that it's just he's taking the truck off for whatever reason because he wants to put someone else's face on the bakery truck.
Oh yeah, he's changing
Why?
the logo.
Why? I don't understand that.
I don't know. I think they were just like, what are we doing this week with this story?
Yeah, and then the whole episode just is a picture contest of them trying to win their face on the side of a bakery truck.
Yeah, at first like just a few of them know, and then Johnny Abadi tells everyone. Then it's just a big contest, and Nanette is trying. She's like, "Here's my professional photos," and
Yeah.
what do you have for this one? This is gonna be a fun episode for me to turn into a video.
This is all chicken scratch. So my top half of the nose is pretty much just a blab. In the dream sequence, we have Angela, of course, fighting Annette. Annette's face or body is on the side of the truck, and I think the truck's all muddy. So then Angela uses a pressure washer to clean it off. And Annette flies off of the truck and then lands on a giraffe. Why?
Okay, well, I could add to that. The giraffe thing is a callback to the beginning of the episode. Starts them in art class, and I think Gordy.
Oh yeah, the paper mache.
Yeah, he made a paper mache giraffe, which someone broke. I forget how it broke. Might have been in that.
It was the sidekick. What's her face? The chubby
Gina?
girl. I feel bad calling her chubby girl and sidekick. It's just none of these characters are in my mind at all.
Memorable. And I mean, you can't really, no one can fault you for saying that, because they literally write her, like, they might as well call her character that. Like, don't even give her a name. You're making it very clear that this is the fat girl. Especially in this episode, it's more fat girl stereotyping, because she's constantly eating and stuffing her face, and all she cares about is the food.
Oh, there's something like that goes for that, right? In my notes, so a bunch of people drop out of the contest and whatnot, and the truck gets revealed, and it's actually her face on the side of the truck. She puts up a big stink. Oh, I don't want to do it. I don't want it to be. It's not against the environment or whatever. And then as soon as Mapperson says, "Well, you get a lifetime of cinnamon buns," and she said, "For life," and he's like, "No, for the day." She's like, "Okay, that's fine."
Yeah, she's happy with her food supply.
Which also, it's funny because Annette also gets her face on an item, which is dog treats.
Yeah. I guess so throughout this, Mapperson becomes more focused on the contest, and with that, the quality of the pastries suffer, and they get worse and worse, which was like Gina's concern through all this. She's like not into the contest because of what was happening with the food.
Yeah.
And then the food gets so bad that Mapperson ends up using it as dog food, and then Nanette, becomes the face of the dog food. And then Gina oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying Gina actually won because Mapperson said, "Of course, you would win. You're my best customer," which adds to the stereotyping again.
Something about this is they clearly recycle characters as well, because one of the judges is the Space Museum China lady.
I saw that, yeah.
And she's a judge in another episode too.
Yeah, in I think the one that'll be coming up, that hoedown one.
Yeah, the whole down.
Yeah, that actually is the next one.
So they really don't have much for character selections. There's probably maybe 15 characters in this whole thing.
Yeah, I think so.
And there's nothing for sets really. You know, you're outside for 2 seconds. You got the school for a little bit. You got a museum, which they see like 2 rooms. So why it's so badly done, I don't know. Because it came out in 1999. I think it lasted to 2001, I want to say.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised it lasted that long.
This show, for me, it kind of looks like... do you remember that show Kablam?
It sounds familiar, but I don't remember how it top mad.
There was a show Kablam that had a bunch of like short, weird animated stuff, like separate different animated segments, and this show looks like something that would just be part of it. Like here's a little segment from it, and I don't know. It's so weird. I'll have to look that up later.
Sounds like a plan. And that being said, I don't want to, insult anyone who worked on this. I'm
Yeah.
sure you guys gave it your best, and for the time and what your resources were, I just think it looks like dog shit.
Yeah. You know, I think with this kind of thing, one person usually has the art direction and a team is, working behind that. But at the same time, when you look at other stuff that was out at that time, or even before that, there's still some really good looking shows like a decade before that. So
Yeah. What, on a side note, what makes me kind of sad is on TV.com, it has a 6.4 out of 10 rating. Are we
what?
missing something? Yeah.
I think
I'm
no.
pretty
I was
sure
gonna say
I'm pretty sure I saw 6.4.
I was gonna say like okay, maybe you are riding hard on nostalgia, but even looking back on this, I do not no nothing fondly.
Yeah, TV.com gives it a 6.4 out of 10 user rating.
They're all
That,
smoking something, I guess.
that's better than average. What's wrong with us? No, it's not us. It's
No.
I don't know how many people rated it. It could only be 5 people for all I know.
Yeah.
I feel like going on there and giving them a good maybe 1, maybe 2. That 2 is being very generous, and that's only because of the anus joke in the one episode, and that's about it.
Is that your redeeming quality for that episode, the anus joke?
Yeah, because when I heard it, I'm like, did they really just say that? I had to rewind it, and I'm like, they said it.
Yep. I'll give you your complimentary slight chuckle.
Any other points that you want to give for that one?
I got nothing, man. We just ran through it and play.
All right, and episode 13, part 2, the big hoedown. We got Angela and her dad versus Nanette and her dad in a square dance competition. And with this one, the dad, I guess, bought a mechanical bull from Angela's dad, didn't fully pay for it, so he wins. He doesn't have to pay for the bull, but if Angela's dad wins, he's got to buy another 10 bulls from him.
Yes.
And yeah, that's it, really.
One thing I took note, for some reason, Nanette's dad talks exactly like John F. Kennedy, the president.
Never even picked that up.
Yeah, I was like, that's kind of weird. And yeah, we're introduced. I mean, we get a little bit more time with Angela's dad. Who cares? I mean, I guess we learn he's an inventor of some sort or mechanical engineer kind of thing.
I want to think that maybe he's a tribute to I forget his name from Honey I Shrunk the Kid, that kind of inventor.
Oh,
He's an inventor, but he's a bad inventor.
is that Rick
Moranis?
Moranis? Yeah, Rick Moranis. Yeah, there's something to do with Angela's socks keep falling, and then he invents a solution for that. They got a whole training montage.
Which Angela trains with her dad on how to do the square dance, while Nanette and her dad train with a ballerina teacher. Which this episode gets really screwy because they have the cowboy guy on their side as a judge because they bribe him, and
Yep.
then Nanette's instructor is also a judge for them for the contest.
Right. So pretty much guaranteed loss. The odds are against them.
Yeah.
What do you got for your notes? For this episode, I kind of jotted down like only a couple things.
We get to see the lady from the astronaut museum again because she's the third judge.
Yep.
In the dream sequence, Angela has Nanette dancing in cow pie clumps, which are actually pies on the ground and not actually cow poop.
Well, they do show a cow poop out a pie, which was weird.
Yeah, it's definitely different. And at the end, Angela and her dad lose.
Yep.
Which is no big deal. But for a reason, the dad's like, "Whoa, we should throw our hats up in celebration." And at some point in time, he put two-way sticky tape in Nanette and her dad's hat, so the hat can't come off because it's stuck to their heads. I don't know when he would have had time to do that, but yeah.
I don't know either. I guess that was the solution to Angela's sock problem. He used like the double-sided tape, and then
Yeah.
I guess that tape is so strong that it makes their hats stuck on their head, and so it was kind of like In the end, they won in that way. I mean, I think she had fun with her dad. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, father-daughter bonding time, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty messed up. It once again showing that money wins because she's Nanette and her dad just straight up bribing judges, bribing the guy who's calling the hoedown moves. And
Also, one thing I found weird in Nanette's training sequence, at one point they're doing the river dance.
I saw that. What Michael
What's
Flatley, what are you doing?
like what point of that is a hoedown? I don't know hoedowns from what I've just seen in movies, but I don't think anyone does a river dance.
No, I thought it was just like basic square dancing. I don't know what the heck.
Yeah. Oh well, it is what it is, I guess.
I'm not country enough to know about that. So
Oh, I'm country. I grew up in a farm, but I don't even know that. Just, this show doesn't make sense at all.
no, not at all.
But we're almost at the end.
Yeah, that was episode 13. So brings us to episode 26, the Nanette Lock.
Yeah.
Shall I summarize?
Yeah, you can do the last two.
Okay. So we got the three characters, Angela, Gina, and Johnny, I think. Yeah, they're on the swings. Johnny's in the middle. And so they're doing this thing where I think they called it swing set crash test dummies or something.
Yeah, that sounds all right.
Yeah, essentially Angela and Gina are swinging and smashing into Johnny, eventually knocking him out. But then in the process, create this. I don't know why it was the biggest deal, but this thing where they pretty much lock arms together, and so they're essentially swinging together, which is for some reason the greatest idea on the playground. So great that Nanette steals it, steals the idea, and which is why the episode is called the Nanette Lock. Everyone thinks it's absolutely the best, and she takes credit for it. And then the rest of the episode is just Angela trying to prove that she actually created it. And yeah, that. What do you got for these notes?
Yeah, it's pretty much an episode of just people holding hands while they swing together.
Yep.
I noticed that Nanette, we talked about this earlier, that Miss Brinks loves her so much. Did you notice that Nanette's the only one with gold stars in the classroom on the chart?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, she's got like 16 gold stars and no one else has anything at all.
Kissing all sorts of butt.
Just skimming over the notes here. See anything important? When Angela goes around because she asked a couple of people what they remember seeing outside that day.
Yeah.
She goes over to Johnny and asks him what he saw, and for whatever reason, he remembers his sequence of them pushing him on the swing. He was a ninja.
Oh,
And he was like avoiding their attacks and everything.
Yeah.
That's what he remembers. Gordy, he's having an allergy attack from maybe the pollen or flowers. I don't really know what he was having an attack from.
I think so.
Which is going to be really interesting because then it just screws over the next episode, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yep.
Angela's daydream in this one is about all the different things that Nanette comes up with. At one point, she's playing with radioactive toxins, and then she says that Nanette's greatest invention next to the lock was inventing the dentist drill.
Okay.
And then at one point, everyone's outside waiting to take turns on the swing. Miss Brinks and Nanette are swinging on the swing, and the swing breaks,
Yes.
causing the teacher to fall to the ground. That's when Nanette says, "Oh, I didn't come up with that. That's all Angela." Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Nanette, she eventually tells the truth at the end that it was Angela's idea because she doesn't want to get in trouble or whatever with the teacher. But at the same time, when everyone hears the truth, they're like, "Oh, Angela, that's awesome." And my brain started turning off while I was taking notes because I spelled Angela wrong in here, and I didn't even care to correct it. I literally spelled Agala.
That sounds about right in my notes too.
Yeah. There was a new character that I took notice of. I don't know her name, but her character trait is that she's super religious.
And she's in love with Gordy.
Yeah, which is weird. Yeah, she dresses like a nun essentially. I don't know. I saw on her collar she has like crosses on her collar.
See, I didn't know if she was a nun or gothic.
I
She
don't
doesn't
think
have
she
the gothic makeup, but I think she has like the Wednesday Addams dress on kind of thing
Yeah, she's got that thing going on.
in between the lines.
Yeah, and it's revealed that Gordy has a thing for Gina because when he is asked about like what he saw, he has this like fantasy about Gina, which is really weird.
Yeah.
And then he's like supposed to be Angela's like main proof or witness, I guess, but then it's like discredited because he can't actually see anything because of his allergies. That's the episode for me. The only thing else I have noted on here is that Nanette's French is horrible. Once again, I forget. She says something about like she uses the term creme brulee, but creme brulee is like, you know, it's a food, it's a pastry or drink or something, and she uses it in some other term, which is completely wrong. I forget what she was trying to say, but I just know it was wrong.
I zoned out a lot of things because we watched them. We both watched them. I watched them a little bit before you.
Yeah.
So we watched them all at the same time. So it's like an hour of watching the show nonstop. It's like, oh my God, what are we doing? So next time I'm going to plan it out better and watch the episodes apart and a little bit ahead of time, just to save myself.
Yeah, I think just for these bad ones, I mean, when it comes to like shows that I do like, I don't mind just going through them all because, I mean, I enjoy it. This one, no.
Yeah, no.
Well, that brings us to the very last part. I'm going to say right now, this last one, I have the least amount of notes of any episode because by that time, my brain was just done.
I just want to say thank God we made it to the end. I want to burn my notes after I'm done. Unless anybody wants to buy them.
I think they'll punch you.
Probably.
So this is the second part of episode 26. Gordy Floats is what it's called. God, I literally only have 4 things of notes, but I could probably summarize this pretty good. It's the first day of spring, and therefore they are having a spring float contest. Gordy wins every year because he just is able to capture the essence of spring in his float every time. But then Nanette wants to enter her own float to compete against him. Angela and the others want Gordy to win so bad that they decide to help him, but in helping him, they're kind of like putting in their own ideas and not listening to him when he himself is like the expert at it. And of course, Nanette's float is going to be this big monstrosity to show off like her wealth and whatever. And Gordy ends up growing frustrated, so frustrated that he leaves the team to just do his own thing. And of course, Angela and Johnny and Gina's float ends up being this big mess. They literally made it out of like a canoe or something.
A gondola.
A gondola, yeah, it was a gondola.
I wrote that down in my notes, and they have a toilet in the middle of it.
Yeah, in the end, we actually get a happy ending because Gordy does win, because he's able to capture the essence of the float. And yeah, what do you got?
This episode makes no fucking sense. Sorry for my language on this episode.
That's fine.
But we have Gordy, who was in episode 26 earlier, who's allergic to flowers by the looks of it.
Yep.
But yet, in this part, he's all for the flowers. I don't deal with allergies. I don't have them at all. But isn't that contradicting?
Sir, are you looking for continuity in this show?
A little bit, seeing the episodes are in the same episode. If they're part 1 and 2 of different episodes, sure, go ahead. I don't care. But when it's part 1 and part 2 of an episode, and 1 minute he's allergic, and the next minute he's not, yeah, you're going to piss me off.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all.
The whole thing, Gordy spring so much because to him spring means love and friendship. That's why he wants it, why he does such a good job. And for all the listeners, I want you to know that Rob just rolled his eyes when I said that.
Couldn't help it. It's involuntary.
Yes. So Gory's float's always about love, I guess. Annette's float is a real fire truck for some reason. She starts putting flowers on it, and she's got a throne on top of the ladder.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool, I guess. She falls off of it. Oh, did I say that out loud? They make a comment that Nanette has imported flowers. The one girl says, well, how about putting pastries on our float? Angela says, no, it's Gordy's float. Let's let him do the idea. Let's let him make the choices. And then Angela just cuts off Gordy and says, how about we put fake flowers on the float?
Oh yeah, and he
So
freaks
she's
out
saying
about
one
that.
thing, and then she cuts him off.
Great friends.
Yeah. And then, like I said, Gordy then quits because he's tired of the float. Because I wrote in my notes, it's a clusterfuck. You got fake flowers, you got a gondola with wheels underneath it, and you got a used toilet in the middle. Then Angela's daydream is sabotaging Nanette's float. Random museum girl, again, is a judge. Apparently she doesn't work enough.
Nope.
Gordy still wins, and then the firefighter, which is probably the best part of this episode because it's at the end, he has to rush off to a fire because the competition's over. So he's taking his fire truck back with everything on it, including Nanette and her throne on top of the ladder. That's it.
That is the end. We made it.
Let's burn the show.
Yeah. So I got a couple extra notes that are just related to the show in general. For some reason, I'm gonna. Okay. Well, first of all, let me throw this out there. Thank you, Brian. This is a creation of Canada.
I am not associated.
For some reason, they have 3 seasons, a total of 65 episodes.
Not associated.
Yeah.
Now, which makes me wonder, it's Canadian, but if it's made by people that live in Quebec, it's not Canadian. We don't associate with that part. Because there's a lot of French related stuff. So it could be from Quebec. So therefore, we just cut that little line off and separate that part. If there's any people listening from Quebec, I'm sorry. You suck at driving too, by the way.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I didn't find out where specifically from Canada came out. Oh, but it did say related shows. Kablam. So, like I was talking about, Kablam took a bunch of different shows and gave them very short segments. So maybe that's where this started.
Could that be like a test pilot show?
Maybe this came out of it.
Which would be really funny if that's a test pilot show, and this is the thing that won out of everything else. What does everything else look like? Did they pick this because it has a unique art style, which is, it's like Slenderman horrible?
Yeah. According to this, the show features cutout animation in which characters are created using black and white photographs, and then they have like software that superimposes models' faces onto computer-generated bodies and backgrounds.
That sounds confusing as fuck.
It sounds like too much work for something so ugly.
It sounds like, hey, we want to do South Park animation style, but at the same time, let's try to throw in some reboot.
God, they aired this on multiple things. You got Fox Family, you got Stars Kids, like you said, Teletoon, and then internationally it was Nickelodeon, and oh my God, it also went on Cartoon Network. What is going on?
Cartoon Network's known to have a lot of bad shows now and then. And I would also let everyone know, I know for a fact, Canada hasn't been known to do very well cartoons. There's a bunch of doozies out there.
Yeah. For some reason, this show got high ratings, but mixed reviews.
Now, how do you get high ratings with mixed reviews?
I don't know. Maybe kids just didn't know what they were watching.
The stats don't seem to make sense. How do you get high ratings, but your reviews are mixed?
Currently on IMDb, it is 4.6 out of 10.
That's still kind of high.
That is a little too much. But hey, I don't know. They did it. They achieved their mediocrity.
I wonder if this thing ever got released on DVD.
I actually have an answer for you. That never did. Thankfully.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I could just imagine the DVD sales.
hmm
Be the
Oh,
ET Atari game all over again.
sorry. The never got a full series release, but there were a couple of DVD volumes that were released in Australia. So I am sorry, Australia.
You guys must really hate yourself. There shows that you got to print this one off. Can't find anything better.
Nope.
I guess at that rate too, it's also the cheapest properties. I'm assuming this wouldn't cost that much to copyright out to a company that produce on DVD.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah, any final words for this thing?
Nowhere to lie. After I watched this for an hour, I literally had a headache. My eyes hurt. My ear. It's a combination of the poorly done animation, the bad voice acting, and that goddamn theme song. Which I watched it all on YouTube. If anyone wants to watch it, you can watch it on YouTube. The whole thing's there. I don't know why you would want to, but it's there for you if you want it. Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah. So we're both dads and we're busy. Um, my mornings are my precious time. And so I used my precious time to watch this show. And I'm not going to say I regret it because this is for the podcast, but that is, a time when my daughter is asleep and I could be playing a game or I could be doing something creative. But no, I was watching this and yeah, it's like I said at the beginning of this episode, this is one of the ugliest things I've ever seen. Um, there's some stuff I've watched before where like I ask myself, what is going on with this animation? But even with like bad animation, the show still had redeeming qualities. There is nothing here. We were stretching to find redeeming qualities for the show, but it's got nothing.
Not even one single likable character.
No. No. I was trying to think about it and I'm just like, I'm going to say no. If anyone out there, I would love to hear it, that likes the show and you wish to defend it, please do. Send us a message, comment on either if this whenever this comes out on YouTube eventually or on Twitter. Let us know. I would love to hear your reasoning for why this this show is okay.
Oh, if they made a game of this, I don't know what I would do.
I don't even know what. I mean, who
It'd
am I kidding?
Be one of those Sesame Street shows where you just go point to point B to point A to point C to click, click, click.
Yeah.
But with that being said, if anyone does want to try and say that's a good show, feel free to @me on my personal account on Twitter. I don't care. I'll tell you to your internet face that it sucks. We'll go on from there, and then we'll discuss cartoons that I actually enjoy that are good.
Yes. And
this one is not good at all.
Maybe there's something with their eyesight.
It threw me for a loop, though, when I found out each episode was 2 episodes.
Yeah, were you like, what?
I was like, no, it's not possible. No. Steve Carell all over again. No.
See, if I had known that beforehand, we probably would have put in some system where we're just like, you know what, let's just watch like the 3 mini-sodes or something.
Yeah. But that's us being committed. We watched this last minute. We're probably never going to do that again because I think I lost some brain cells this morning. They're not coming back. They ran away.
We can never get those back.
No.
Never get that time back.
And if anyone knows of a worse cartoon that's uglier looking, has worse voice acting, has an intro that makes you want to slam your head up against a desk, feel free to add us. I would love to see what it is because I'll argue it.
Yeah, please let us know. I don't know what we're doing for the next episode, but I'm sure we'll decide on something.
I also want to point this out. When coming up with the episodes, Rob did remember this one. I remembered it because I hated it. On Rob's list, though, he has Doug. So if you want to add him for that, because I think Doug's still a good cartoon, we probably won't be discussing that one. We might. If we do, it's going to be me saying positive stuff and him saying negative stuff, but that's besides the point. But yeah, if you want to add him for that too, go right ahead.
See, I think that would actually make for a good episode because then we got like, two sides of it. You can defend it to the death, and I'll just be like, yeah, here's this boiled chicken.
You gotta love pork chop. Quail man. Come on. Quail man, come on. But anyways, I think that's it.
Yeah, we did it. We survived. I mean, I feel a little drained from doing this, but I'm proud of us.
I think this is probably gonna be our longer episode too, which is very, very disappointing. But
yeah, I mean, right now we're clocking in at like this recording is like 56 minutes, and I'll edit it down.
yeah, there's some dead air there, a little bit.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
A lot of sighs.
A lot of sighs and a lot of depression.
Yep.
A lot of depression.
Oh well.
But if you want to keep in touch with me, feel free to follow me on Twitter. Go on Facebook, search Typhonstein and Illustrate Mine and Brian Tyfair. You find my Linktree site, and that will send you to everything else, Instagram and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I think that's it.
Follow us on YouTube, Nostalgic Dad Network. We're putting in work. We only got a couple of videos, but hoping to release a lot more.
And yeah, you got your gaming videos up there. So
yeah, we're getting to work and trying to be consistent. I'm just lazy.
Procrastinator.
That's my skill. I'm the expert at that.
It's a dad skill.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I feel it some days.
Most days.
Yeah, like today. I'm like, 3 hours after waking up, should probably watch this. I'll just watch some Elksers.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, that's all I got.
That's all I got.
Thank you guys for listening and joining us once again, and we will definitely see you next time.
Talk to you guys later.